The Jonathan Kuminga free agency saga rolls on. Yes, after a week's vacation that I took, still no movement on the Jonathan Kuminga front. But on today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports, we have a new update surrounding the Warriors restricted free agent. And before we get into all of it, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that the Warriors have not made a move yet. So let's wake Mike Dunleavy up a little bit and go down below and like today's video. Make it known to the Warriors front office that we need to go out there and make a move right now, whether it be Kuminga or something else externally. We need the Dubs to do something this offseason. Like the video if you want Mike Dunleavy to get off of the couch and go make a move. All right, that was all kind of half joking, right? Because we know the Warriors can't really make many moves until the Kuminga situation is resolved, and they're not really moving forward with any of the moves that they want to make this summer until the Kuminga stuff is wrapped up. But there still is no movement on that front. What we knew before I took my little staycation back in my hometown is that Kuminga and his representatives were meeting with Summer League in Las Vegas, where the Summer League's going on right now, with a bunch of potential suitors as to, teams that could work out a sign and trade for Kuminga. Because there's not a lot of teams around the league right now that have any real cap space to absorb a restricted free agent offer sheet. And we know over the past couple of weeks that there have been a few teams that have been involved in the mix for Kuminga. We heard about the rumored Sacramento Kings package that included Devin Carter and Dario Saric. We also heard about the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls. They were the two teams that were most closely linked to Kuminga at the start of free agency, but now we're a full 2 weeks later and nothing is really materialized on that front. And this all comes from Brett Siegel of ClutchPoints, where he says that there's no real sweepstakes that exists here for Jonathan Kuminga. The Kings were never close to any deal to get JK to Sacramento. The Heat were really never close to a deal either, and then they go out and trade for Norman Powell, so the $24 million player there, and you can kind of count them out of trading for Kuminga at this point, it feels like, as they're going to roll into the season with Andrew Wiggins. We can talk more about potential Wiggins reunion in Golden State in a little bit, but as for this offseason, doesn't look like that's realistic. The Bulls are another team that I've actually loved a couple of players and their fits in Golden State, but they traded away Lonzo Ball, a player who I would have welcomed back in a deal. They go out there and draft Noah Esenge. And by the way, in that Lonzo deal, they get back Isaac Okoro. So they draft an athletic, raw prospect wing, and they bring in another guy, kind of in that front court mold in Isaac Okoro, where that would create a kind of a logjam for Kuminga in Chicago. And the Bulls' interest was, quote-unquote, quieted substantially. And really, how much interest was there ever? I just kind of feel like they were being thrown around in rumors. It doesn't seem like they were ever all that interested in a Kuminga trade. More from Brett Siegel here on the situation, as there could be a couple more teams that could be interested in a Kuminga sign and trade. As he says, sources have some have speculated that the Utah Jazz, Brooklyn Nets, or Charlotte Hornets could get involved in the restricted free agency field specifically for Kuminga. However, in conversations at NBA Summer League, none of these three teams appear to be in the market to pursue JK. So where does that leave us now? Oh my God. I'm still probably going to get hate in the comment section for what I'm about to say right now, but clearly we know at this point, nobody wants the guy. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants to pay him. Nobody wants to create any sort of financial, jump through any hoops to go out there and create space to go out and absorb Jonathan Kuminga. Nobody wants the guy. And it clearly seems at this point that the Warriors have overvalued him. Just plain and simple. They drafted him 7th overall. They've tried to slowly but surely develop him, but never really fit into the rotation. And now he's being overvalued to the point of, oh yeah, he's only 22 years old. He's already been a 16-point per game scorer. There's still untapped potential there. Well, he's entering year 5 of his NBA career. And the free agency market, yes, it has been bleak this summer, but nobody wants him. And nobody wants to jump through the hoops that it will take to open up a slot to absorb his contract. Because with the restricted free agency, how it works in the CBA, a new team has to obviously sign him to a new deal, but the Warriors can only take back half of what that new deal costs. So it's a very tricky situation. There aren't a lot of suitors out there for Kuminga, and not only a sign and trade, but to just bring him a part of the roster completely, because he's shown that he is a low IQ player and just really has not been polished enough over these 4 seasons that he's been a professional to warrant a big money contract that he and his team are demanding at this point. So that brings us to this. Brett Siegel saying the following. He says, in Kuminga's case, a return to the Warriors continues to be likely. Various high-ranking members of the organization would like Kuminga back, the only team in the goddamn league, including owner Joe Lacob. Ultimately, the expectation from rival teams around the NBA is that Kuminga will go back to the Warriors with the mutual understanding that he will be moved before the trade deadline in February. This is a clown show. This is a legitimate clown show of an organization, and it is downright disrespectful, and it's quite frankly embarrassing that Wardell Stephen Curry has to just deal with this on a daily basis. I mean, what the hell is going on in Golden State? This has disaster written all over it. I mean, think come October when the season's ramping up and we hear all this stuff. Oh, yeah, Kuminga's been in the offseason. He's been working on that jumper. He's hitting tons against no defense in an open gym all summer long. By the way, when he was doing that, he shot like 50% in a wide open gym. It's god-awful numbers. You bring him back into the rotation next season. You play him alongside Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, which, by the way, the head coach said that he could not do if he wanted to win basketball games. He said that if he wanted to win games, he could not play this guy big-time minutes next to his 3 best players. So what does that tell you? He doesn't like the fit of the player on his roster. He doesn't think that he can contribute to winning in the best version of the roster or rotation that he can compile. So you're going to bring him in. It's going to be a bunch of just disaster when it comes to fit. Kuminga wanting to be the man when really he should just be a complimentary player, which I think he could actually be very good at, like cutting off of the ball, being a screener, chasing down rebounds, being a hustle guy, going and getting every 50-50 ball. Like, I think he could do a really good job at that because he has all the things that you can't teach, like unreal athleticism and just quickness and just raw athletic talent. Like, he has that. But as a polished basketball player and things in between the ears, you need to be a successful Golden State Warrior. He doesn't have it. And bringing him back next season would just create more awkwardness and probably lead to losing more basketball games early in the season when in reality you need to conserve the bodies of Steph, Jimmy, Draymond during these last couple years of their career during the regular season so you can make postseason pushes. I want the team that's out there in October to be the team that's contending out there in April, May, and potentially June. Bringing back Kuminga doesn't do that, in my opinion, especially when there's a black cloud hanging over everybody's head that he's going to be traded, and who knows if you could actually find a trade partner during the season that will take on that deal. Who knows? But we'll see when it all unfolds and when they actually come up to a decision on all this. What's your decision? Be honest with me. Like, do you want Jonathan Kuminga back on the Warriors? I know I'm going to get flooded with yeses in the comments section, and yeah, I'm going to get flamed for the takes that I'm having. I'm going to get called a hater, all this, all that. Be honest with me. Do you want Jonathan Kuminga back on the Warriors and all that awkwardness into next regular season? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments section. Before we move any further with today's programming, I got to tell you guys about this awesome deal because I was searching with our friends over at Fanatics, and I was like, whoa, you can get any jersey you want on the Warriors shop for 25% off, including Steph Curry jerseys at this link right here, chatsports.com/Curry sale. But beware, you have to use this promo code HOMERUN. Use home run because the Derby's coming up, all that good stuff at MLB All-Star Weekend. 25% off this Curry jersey, the one they wear pretty much every single night. Get it at this link right here, chatsports.com/Curry sale, and use code HOMERUN to get that 25% off. Don't worry, though. I put all the information and this link in the comment section and description of today's video. So all you guys got to do is scroll down below, like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff as well, and click that link and get yourself a Steph Curry jersey for 25% off. All right, before we get out of today's show, I got to give you guys the latest Warriors free agency updates because it's been a while since I've been on the program. I was back visiting my family back up in the Northeast, and a lot of stuff has been coming out. I mean, I guess not too much new information, but we're getting closer and closer to the idea that Golden State is going to be bringing in a couple of players after the Jonathan Kuminga stuff is all sorted out. Hopefully, it doesn't take too much longer and these guys fly off the market, but it seems like these two names, Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton, look to be likely signings coming to Golden State whenever the Kuminga dust settles and he gets re-signed or they find a sign and trade partner. It feels like these two guys are going to be the next key signings for Golden State this offseason and factor to be pretty big parts of this rotation heading into next season and contending for a championship. Brett Siegel saying this on the Al Horford front. We're going to get to Horford first, and then we'll talk Melton. He says, although he has been linked to a few other teams, the expectation from other teams outside of the Warriors at Summer League is that the 39-year-old won't retire and that he will indeed play his 19th NBA season with the Golden State Warriors. That's awesome. That's awesome news. Like I think Horford can still provide a ton even at age 39. Like if you go back and watch what he did in the postseason, you watch the past couple of years with the Celtics, what he contributed to their championship run back in 2024. Like this guy can still play, he can still get up and down the floor. And Curry was asked as he was at a celebrity golf pro-am this weekend about the prospect of signing Al Horford, because that has been the name that the Warriors have been most closely linked to in the external unrestricted free agency circuit this offseason so far. And he said he's a champion, great player. And then he said when, and then stopped himself, said if, when all that stuff happens, I'll talk about it. So did he let that big W word there slip with the when there if with Horford signing with Golden State? Look, I think it would be an awesome fit, and this is a player who has the opportunity to not only be a big part of the Warriors rotation, playing big-time minutes at age 39 next year, but also could be a mentor to a guy like Quentin Post, who the Warriors are investing a lot into, as they have not brought in any centers this offseason, and they have let a guy like Kevon Looney walk in free agency. So, like, they're investing a lot into Quentin Post, and I think Al Horford would be the perfect mentor for him to be able to do so. Like, he's still a guy who can honestly move a little bit on the defensive end. Yeah, if you get him caught in a high pick and roll with like a small guard or something like that, he'll get lost. But like, so on wings, on bigs, like he can move with some of these mobile guys at those positions. And obviously down low, he's a great rim protector as well. A great passer. I think he'll fit right into the Warriors' offensive scheme and can hit the outside shot at a 40% clip. Like, there's not a lot to not like about Al Horford. I know a lot of people are just looking at that age 39. And they're like, yeah, he's washed. No, he is not. He can absolutely play at a super, super high level. And I look forward to the eventual signing if and when it actually ends up happening. Let's shift to DeAnthony Melton here, though, as we've heard a couple of reports from some tapped-in guys around the league, Mark Stein of the Stein line, and then Brett Siegel again here. Stein says that Golden State has emerged as a strong contender to bring back DeAnthony Melton after he was originally with Golden State at the start of last season. And he says that this report coincides with something that he's heard earlier in the offseason as well. So these two sides have been linked all summer long. And Brett Siegel kind of said the same thing. And Melton, quote-unquote, could take a minimum contract for the right situation. Now, what would the right situation entail? Well, you can kind of look to last season when he was factoring into be either a six-man or in the starting unit for Golden State when the first 6 games that he played for Golden State, and he'd actually been missing a little bit of time at the start of last season because the Warriors, when he had gone down with a torn ACL, had been 12-3. So it's 15 games. You'd already missed 9 at the start of the season, but when he was on the floor, he was really, really solid, man. Getting up 6 threes a game, shooting at a 37% clip, like playing good defense. He was taking a lot of the on-ball, like initiation duties away, letting Steph work off of the ball, and they were looking to be a really, really good tandem there in the backcourt. I would love to bring back Melton on a vet minimum contract, and if he's willing to come to a vet minimum deal, he's going to see the opportunity in this Warriors rotation. I think he'll be one of the first 2 guards off of the bench, and you won't have to look to a guy like Gary Payton in a lot of these situations anymore. Melton is a true 2-way guard. The biggest question with him is if he can stay healthy, which he has not been able to do over the past couple of seasons, but I'm all in on bringing him in on a vet minimum deal. Some other free agency targets that have been floated around by Siegel and some other NBA insiders in the Golden State front include Malcolm Brogdon. I wouldn't be opposed to that if the Melton thing falls through. Even if Melton ends up signing in Golden State, like 2 guys who have some injury concerns, like their health hasn't been the best throughout their entire careers. So I wouldn't be opposed to bring both Melton and Brogdon in here on vet minimum deals, but who knows if Brogdon could get a little bit more. Trey Lyles will give you a little bit of shooting in the front court, just a floor spacer there. Guy can rebound the ball a little bit. I like his fit in Golden State and is a smart basketball player. Like, I think he would be fine in the Warriors' offensive scheme. I don't really want to bring back GP2, but that prospect is always out there. He would be a vet minimum deal as well, as so would Seth Curry and Ben Simmons, 2 names that have kind of been creeping up in the Golden State Warriors rumor mill over the past couple of days. Seth would be playing with his brother, which he has long said he's wanted to do. He's going to be out of the Charlotte area very, very soon. Who knows if it will end up in Golden State. And then Ben Simmons, honestly, wouldn't mind that. I think he can pass the ball. He can defend. Like, you're not going to ask him to spread the floor for you, but he could do a lot of things in the basketball court that would be valuable in the Warriors system. So with that being said, who is your guy for Golden State? As they have yet to make a move externally this offseason really at all. All they've done is lose Kevon Looney. Name a player the Warriors should sign. Let me know who you guys think the Warriors should bring in down in the comment section. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Lock us in for free Warriors content. I'm back on the horse. I'm running the Warriors show here once again this offseason. So this content does not stop. Subscribe down below for free Warriors offseason content. We'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.